Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Flipgrid live event. I am so excited. I'm Siobhan from Team Flipgrid. Have you ever wondered how scientists study sharks and other animals that live in the ocean? Today, we have Jillian Morris, a marine biologist and founder of Sharks for Kids, who will help you explore the world of shark science. But before we get started, let me just say, if you don't know what Flipgrid is, it's a free video discussion platform from Microsoft. And we're on a mission to empower everyone on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. That's why we're so excited about today's event. So, with that, let's get to the event. We're going to spend some time with Jillian as she discusses different types of equipment and why they're used, why science is important for conservation, and how you can be a junior shark scientist. Jillian, are you with us?
Hey, Jillian, I think you might be muted.
Hey everyone, thank you so much, Siobhan, for the introduction. I'm really excited to be here to speak with everyone today about shark science, some of the equipment that we use, why we use it, and how everyone here watching can be a shark scientist. Make sure to put your questions and where you're joining us from in the Q&A. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and look. Right, and look who's we've given you a second. So we have Miss Palozzi's class in Rhode Island, Miss Candace's grade 6 in Edmonds, Washington, Mr. Allardyce's 7th grade class from British Columbia, Mr. Edwards' 5th grade class in Alberta, and so many more. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about just a few different tags. That's really something you may have seen on TV, or if you've heard about shark science, you've probably heard about tags and tagging. So I have some of the equipment to show you here and why we use it, how we use it, and why it's really important. So I'm going to go ahead and share some really cool photos and videos with you. All right, well, thank you again for everyone joining, and I am so excited to be here talking about shark science and really focusing on the tags that we're using. So just a quick pause, I am a marine biologist. I've been really lucky. I've spent a lot of years studying sharks all over the world, swimming with them, taking photos and videos. And I actually just got back from a research project in Turks and Caicos studying lemon sharks. And so, and also teaching students like yourselves about these awesome and amazing animals. And I live in the Bahamas, so I do get to spend a lot of time with some really big, beautiful sharks. And taking photos and videos is another aspect of research that we do use. I just like to show this because sometimes I think people are a little bit afraid of sharks, and that's a beautiful, great hammerhead just swimming up and over. And cameras are a tool that we can use, taking photos and videos to learn a little bit more, telling individuals apart, and capturing certain behaviors. But a lot of times the tags can help us answer so many different questions. There are over 500 different species of shark, over 500. So what we use to study one type of shark might not work for all the others. They live in different habitats, they eat different things, they're different sizes, different depths of the ocean. So the equipment we use really has to be specialized to help us answer specific questions about each species. And one of the methods that we do use is to capture sharks so that we can work with them and collect our data are drum lines. And drum lines are a buoy or float at the top, and it's connected to the weight at the bottom. And then you can see there's a line there so that the shark can swim around. And we put this in the water for about 90 minutes, right? And it's so the shark can swim because some sharks do have to swim to survive, not all of them, but we want to make this as easy as possible on the animal. Then once we have the shark, depending on the size and the boat we're working on and where we are, we're either going to leave it next to the boat with us, right? There's a black tip on the right, or we might bring it into the boat like the lemon shark you see on the other side. And we're going to do a scientific workup. This is similar to if you've been to the doctor and you've had a physical or checkup. So we're going to collect some data. And the first thing we're going to take some measurements. Now, we might have to bring the shark in the boat. This is a small little lemon shark from the project I was just working on. You can see we've got a very fancy piece of equipment. It's a cooler. So sometimes when you're places, you make work with what you got, okay? So this is some of our equipment that we didn't have a specialized tub, but a cooler with fresh water, plenty of oxygen works perfect. We can do our workup. We're flipping the shark over there quickly to see if it's a male or a female. The pelvic fins, if it's a male, have two finger-like extensions called claspers. And this is important because we want to know how many males or females we're catching in an area. And then once we've collected our data, we will put the shark back. We may also bring the shark alongside the boat. This is a big, beautiful bull shark. So we don't really want to bring that animal into the boat. It doesn't want to be in the boat. And so what we're going to start with is our measurements. And you can think of this like when you go to the doctor and you get a physical or a checkup and they see how tall you are. So we're going to measure from the tip of the shark's nose. I've got my assistant here. Tip of the shark's nose to the tip of the shark's tail. That's the total length. Tip of the shark's nose to the precaudal length. This is their caudal fin, so just before that, and the tip of the nose all the way to the fork length, that kind of between that top and bottom. Then we might also take some measurements around the body of the shark. You can see sometimes we might do this in the water. So this is a much smaller little lemon shark. This is actually a newborn lemon shark that was probably less than a month old. And this video just kind of sees, sometimes it's not always easy trying to get that measurement. So this is a nurse shark, oops, you can kind of see, and we have a tail rope around it. This is keeping the animal secure. And you would have noticed with the bull shark, we work together as a team and we keep that animal secure next to the boat. One, so it doesn't harm us splashing around, or it doesn't hurt itself. We want to do this as quickly as possible. And really, we work as a team. Everyone knows their job, and we do this very, very quickly. No matter what type of tag, anywhere from 5 to about 12 minutes, we collect all our data, tag the shark, and let it go. So we want to work really fast to minimize any stress. What do you mean? Animals get stressed? They do. We can't explain to the shark what we're doing. So it's really important to be able to collect that data that we're trying to find and release the animal as quickly as possible. And when everyone knows their job, it's much easier to do that. Now, after those measurements, we're also going to take a little piece of skin, a small tissue, and you may have seen, if I quickly go back to that one, there's kind of a little triangle in the dorsal fin of the shark. So we actually cut a little piece out, and you can think of this like clipping your hair or cutting your fingernails. It gives us the shark's DNA, that internal name tag. Right? Because shark families don't necessarily stay together. They might be in the same area, but mom and dad sharks are not taking care of their babies. So this can actually be sent off to a lab and help us figure out if we've ever caught mom, dad, brothers, sisters, or really understand how they're using that area and how many. It's a shark family tree. We can also use that little piece of tissue, some blood, and a little piece of tissue from lower down the body, below the fin, to figure out what the shark's been eating. Right? Imagine if I clipped your fingernails and we knew you'd been eating spaghetti all last month, lots of chocolate cake, and tons of pancakes. Now, sharks are not eating pizza, pancakes, spaghetti, but these samples can help us actually figure out their diet. What's their favorite food? Where are they hanging out? Seagrass beds, coral reefs. So some measurements help us, and then this little piece of tissue can actually tell us a lot already about these animals. Now, before we release the animal, we want to give them a tag. This is an identification mark. If you've seen people with those stickers that say, "Hi, my name is," well, a sticker wouldn't last very long on a shark. So we have to use different types of tags. These depend on the size of the shark, the questions that we're asking, and the location as well, kind of what we're wanting to learn. Now, some of you out there may have a cat or a dog that's microchipped. And if you're not sure, ask your family after the talk. And what it means is they have a little tiny chip, a really small chip, that's injected at the vet or the Humane Society. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really tiny. And it's in case your pet gets lost. So it has your phone number, address. We use the same thing for sharks, but we're not trying to find lost sharks. We do inject it just below the dorsal fin, and you can see that scanner right there, and I'm going to show you the scanner. So I turn it on, all right? And when we catch a shark, we're going to wave it over, and if nothing comes up, we're going to go, oh, great, we're going to put one of these tags in. So now if I move this tag over and I hit read, it beeped, and there's a number there, just like you can see on the screen. There's a number. It's kind of a big long one. So we give the sharks numbers instead of name tags. So really cool technology used for cats and dogs, but also something we can use for sharks. The next tag goes in the outside, and you can see Hammy's got one of these right here. They're called roto tags. And if you've ever seen a cow or a pig or farm animal with one of these in its ear, that's what they are. Now, sharks do have ears. They have two tiny openings in the top of their head, but they don't have an outside part. So we actually just pierce the fin, put this in, and on the back side, there'll be a phone number or an email. So if somebody either sees the shark, say they're diving and they have that underwater camera, they could take a photo and let us know. Or if they caught the shark, they could also contact us, and maybe if they remeasured it, or maybe we tagged the shark in the Bahamas, but now it's in Florida. We can also hope that if somebody catches the shark, they see that it's being studied and they let it go. Another tag that can go on the outside are these spaghetti tags. You can probably guess where they get their name from, or this Casey Dart tag. And what they'll do is they have the number. So just like that pit tag, right? The small one that goes inside, they've got a number on it. And this one has the number inside. So you can uncoil that, and it's got a little piece of information inside. And there's that bull shark with it. And they go just, either one of them, just below the dorsal fin, under the skin, so that they're streamlined with the body. They're not affecting how the shark swims. And we just have this kind of wooden tool that we pop them right in quickly just under the dorsal fin. Now, for the pit tags, the roto tags, and these Casey and spaghetti tags, we have to catch the shark again, or at least see it again to be close enough to read those numbers. And when we catch it again, we can take new measurements, and this can help us learn how quickly they grow. Or if we catch it in a completely new area, if it's a species that migrates or is just utilizing a different type of habitat or ecosystem. But we have to really be able to catch them again to learn much. Other tags, though, have some really incredible technology. Think about how your phone doesn't just make phone calls. You can record videos, you can order dinner, go shopping. It does a lot of cool things. So technology is changing how we can study sharks as well. So this acoustic tag, right, you can see here, it might not look very fancy, but these actually give off a ringtone. Well, it's not a ringtone, but think of it as a unique ringtone for each tag. It's a series of beeps. Now, when we flip a shark over, it goes into a sleep-like state called tonic immobility. And in here, we can actually make an incision. We can slide that tag in, use the same type of stitches that are used on humans. And the shark, this is sort of like anesthesia. If you've had a surgery or you know somebody who has, the shark's not feeling this. A couple of stitches, flip the shark over, on it goes, no idea what happened. And for about 10 years, we can actually get some movement data. So this is a great hammerhead with the same type of tag on the outside. And that thing sticking up is a big underwater ear. It's a receiver that listens for that ringtone. And it will tell us, it records in the computer that's inside that case, the water temperature, the time of day, the date, and the shark, right? You can see it kind of pinging here. And then this little video will help you see a little bit more about how this works. So the shark's got the tag, it's pinging. Shark doesn't hear it, we don't hear it, but that receiver records it. Comes by again, and then we'll pull that receiver up, download the information from the computer, and see which sharks are hanging out and how often, to learn a little bit more about how they're spending their time. These other tags are called PSAT tags, pop-off satellite, using satellite technology. So if you have a watch that, or a family member has a watch that keeps track when you go running or exercising or in the car getting directions, that satellite, they connect to a satellite, they're the GPS. These tags collect data, the water depth, and also the location of the shark. And then after a certain amount of time, they actually pop off, float to the surface, and send that information to a satellite. You can see the attachment on a great hammerhead and a skate up at the top. Here's another little video just to help you. So it's swimming around, doing its sharky thing, recording all that information. And it sends it up. Right, and the last tag I'm going to show you, I have one right here, and you can see it's pretty big. This is a spot tag, and it has a computer. These are batteries, and this has to go on a much larger shark, something like a tiger, a white shark, or a mako. And it's got this little sensor right here. When that touches air, so it has to be a shark that comes to the surface. So it comes up, that touches air, and it sends up the GPS location. You can think of this like an iPhone for sharks, but they're not using it to find directions to a new restaurant. They're really just swimming around, doing their thing. And this is giving us, it's kind of a way to spy on sharks. It's letting us see where they're going and how they're spending their time, especially sharks that migrate thousands and thousands of miles or kilometers. We can't follow after them. We can't swim after them. So this really helps us see. And it goes on the shark, and you can see like this, and it sends that signal up. And we'll get an email from the shark showing the location. So it helps us understand where they're moving and where they're spending their time. So why do we do all this? And this is only a fraction of how we might study sharks. There's lots of different methods, lots of different data that we're collecting. And these are just a few of the kind of the main tags that are used. And we do this because unfortunately, sharks are in trouble. About 100 million sharks are killed every single year. And so their populations are going down. And about 1/3 of all sharks and rays, they're kind of flat cousins and skates, are actually threatened with extinction. And this has a lot of information on it, but really overfishing, climate change, plastic pollution. You can see this is actually Ropey, a beautiful great white shark that you can see the rope down over the gills. That's affecting those last kind of gill openings. So even though they're big, strong animals, they can't always outswim pollution. Think of other things, just different trash or chemicals or overfishing. So scientists, we have to collect data to learn, where do sharks spend their time? What are they eating? Where do they give birth? In order to get better laws put in place to protect them. Now, you're all shark scientists, so I want you to explore, learn a little bit more, but things that you can do to help save sharks are certainly using less plastic, avoiding shark products. Shark can be found in, the oil from their liver can be found in lipstick, makeup, lotion, different things. And so avoiding those products if you can. If you're at the beach, making sure that trash isn't there, cleaning that up, easy, fun things, and share some fun facts. Collect your data, make observations, learn about sharks, and share that with your friends and family. It's really, really important. We need sharks for healthy oceans, and they need our help. And I'm so glad that you all joined today to be shark scientists. Siobhan, are you still with us?
I am, and thank you so much. I just learned some amazing things. Number one, I can only imagine what someone would see if they ever clipped my nails. That makes me a little bit nervous if they could see my whole diet. And number two, I'm going to make sure that when I go to the beach next month, that I'm getting rid of all of my trash. And if I see any other trash while I'm along the beach, I'll be making sure to pick that up too. So thank you. I am looking at the chat and I see so many questions have already been asked. But before we get to the questions, we're going to get our selfie time in. And while we're getting ready for our selfie, we do want to make sure that you keep dropping those questions over into the live event Q&A. So let's get ready to take our selfie with Jillian. Now there's something special that you all get to do with this selfie. So while you're getting set up, do you want to show us what a shark fin looks like, Jillian, so they can do that during the selfie time?
Absolutely. So I would love if everyone wanted to put their shark fin up.
Okay. So when we get to taking our selfies, we're going to make sure to have our shark fins up. Now, these selfie photos that we're going to take, we want you to share them with us. So when you post them on social media, make sure to message us at Flipgrid Live and Sharks for Kids. So we're going to get our selfie in now. Let's put our shark fins up. And here we go. We've got about 30 seconds to get those selfies. I love it. Don't forget to post them on social media and mention at Flipgrid Live and at Sharks for Kids. Now it's time to get to some of our questions. And we're getting questions in from all over. Our first question is from Mr. Edwards' 5th grade class. And Jillian's question is, what is the biggest shark you've ever measured?
The biggest shark I ever measured was a tiger shark. I was working in Western Australia. Just over 4.5 meters. We do everything in meters and centimeters when we're measuring sharks and other animals for scientific data. And she was a big, beautiful animal. Just absolutely incredible. Great question. I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was 5 years old. I grew up in Maine and spent a lot of time at the beach and exploring tide pools and just loved the ocean. And then we used to go to Florida for my dad's work every year. And I went snorkeling and I was 8 years old and I saw a little nurse shark. And I was just amazed. So I went home, went to the library, got books and started learning more and more about sharks and was just really fascinated. And the older I got, I started studying science. I went to university to study that. And I learned that people are really afraid or they don't like sharks. And I wanted to share my experience. I wanted to learn about them, but then I also wanted to share with other people why these animals are awesome, important, amazing, and change that fear to fascination because they're really, really incredible. They're wild animals. They deserve our respect, but they're certainly not monsters or man-eaters, and they really need our help. So it's really been a lifelong journey of learning about these animals and then wanting to share it with others like students or adults around the world because they're just incredible animals. Another great question.
Awesome. So here's another question. What I've always had, and another class asked this, how many species of sharks are there?
So we're approaching about 550 different species of shark, but every year new species are discovered, which is really exciting. And one, it means we need to take good care of the oceans because there's still so much of it we haven't explored and we actually know very little, but also for those future shark scientists watching, if you grow up and discover a new species, which you might, you'd also get to name it, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so we've got more questions coming in. Let's see, what's a really good one that I see over here? Let's see. Do sharks use all 5 of their senses?
They do use all 5 of their senses, but they've got a couple of extra ones. So on their snout, you'll actually, poor Hammy wouldn't do very well. He doesn't even have any teeth here. So they have little black dots called the ampullae of Lorenzini, and this is electroreception. Think of a metal detector scanning the bottom and looking for lunch instead of buried treasure or lost jewelry. And so those little pores can actually feel the heartbeat of an animal. They also have a lateral line, which runs down the body that can feel vibrations or movement. Think of if you had a fan in the room. Even if you close your eyes, you could feel the direction that the wind from the fan is coming from. Now, sharks aren't feeling fans underwater, but they can feel the way that water is moving around them. So yes, remember they do have ears, excellent hearing, two tiny openings on the top of the head, but they've got some other senses, including that one up front, that electroreception was sort of their shark superpower.
So with that, we have a student, Fatima, and they want to know if sharks can smell blood.
They absolutely can. Sharks have an excellent sense of smell, but they can't smell blood from miles away. The best kind of example I can give is if you think of a normal sized swimming pool, if there was about a spoonful of blood in there, that's about the distance they could smell that from. Now, if you had a big dead whale, that scent is much stronger and could travel further, but they certainly can't smell it from miles and miles away. And we're not on the menu. So sharks aren't looking around sniffing for human blood. We've actually done experiments where we've put human blood in the water and the sharks aren't interested. But when we put barracuda blood, a type of fish, in the water, then they're kind of swimming around looking for the food. Just like probably if I put a big tray of pizza and cookies down, you guys would all be sniffing around trying to find out where that was. So they have favorite foods and they can certainly smell, but like many things that we can smell, they don't all register as food to us, right? So just think about things you smell during the day. You're not eating all of them. Well, it's the same thing with sharks. Great question.
All right, and we've got time for about one more question, and this is going to come from Miss Armstrong's 4th grade class. They want to know, how long do sharks live?
Great question. So with over 500 different species, this varies from species to species. A lot of the species we have are the types of sharks in the Bahamas. It's anywhere from about 25 can live 50 to 75 years. And then you have the Greenland shark, which can live over 400 years. Right, so it's quite a range, and even though they're all sharks, they're incredibly diverse and different from their size, where they live, the foods they eat, and how long they can live.
Okay, and we're going to add one more question in here because I think I heard it, but I want to make sure. You told us a little bit earlier, what was the largest shark ever measured?
Oh, ever. That's I've measured, but the largest species of shark we know ever existed was the megalodon. It has been extinct for almost 3 million years, not swimming around anymore. And they could be about 50 to 60 feet. But we have the whale shark that is very much alive now, the largest fish in the sea. And they can be anywhere from about 45 feet. So think longer than a school bus.
And the one you measured was how long?
A tiger shark was about 4.5 meters.
Okay.
And the whale shark is, think about 15, just shy of 15 meters. So quite a bit smaller than that, but still a really big, beautiful animal.
Amazing. So Jillian, again, we cannot thank you enough for sharing all of this information and all of your knowledge with us today. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, thank you so much, Siobhan, and the Flipgrid team and everybody watching. It was so awesome. And thank you to all the shark scientists who joined. And just remember, you can collect your information and share that data. And there are things that you can do every day to help sharks and the oceans. And it's really, really important. And make sure if you want to dive into more shark science, we have an incredible activity, Be a Shark Scientist, over on our Flipgrid page. So make sure to check that out, explore, and share your video, get creative, and remember, you can be a shark scientist.
Thank you again, Jillian. I am dubbing myself after today an official shark scientist. So along with all the classrooms out there, I am now one of you as well. And it has just been so special to have you here. So thank you again. For everyone else, we definitely want to thank you for spending this last half an hour with us. We are so grateful. And guess what? It does not have to just stop today. We have Flipgrid live events every single week. We have an incredible lineup and would love for you to join as we learn together. You can always head over to aka.ms/Flipgrid live events for more information and to register for any of the upcoming events. And don't forget to check out all of the Shark for Kids topics. Thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day, and thank you so much for joining us.